Welcome back. This is part 3 of Merc's Elden Ring Unnecessary Walkthrough 100%. We're getting all equipment, all bosses, all talismans, etc., etc., etc. Not actually items, though, because that would be silly. There's a lot of unnecessary ones in this video game. Anyway, last time we covered most of Limgrave proper. This episode, we're going to be going down here and getting the Weeping Peninsula. But first, we have one painting. The Homing Instinct painting, and that is right near here, so we're going to run over there real fast. Telling of the paintings is just a matter of like becoming very familiar with the area, which obviously takes some time, but you just look for like architectural references, things like the minor Erdtrees, things like the Erdtree in the background, and this one I just know it's like over here on the south coast looking over at the Weeping Peninsula. So we're just going to run over there and grab it. Also, I believe there is a stone sword key in this ruins that we missed. I don't remember where it's at, which is why I missed it earlier. These guys really love a Geel. I have bad news for them about a Geel. Well, I can't find it. Maybe it's there, maybe it's not. Let's go get the painting instead. So that painting, you'll notice, has also some tombstones too. So we're going to be looking for an arch, tombstones, and tree. So there's an arch and tree, but no tombstones. There's the grace. There's an intact arch over here, and it's got tombstones in front of it. And there you see the little painter guy. He'll appear and be like, oh, I painted that. Yeah, that was me. And then you get the Incantation Scarab. So let's go onwards to Weeping Peninsula. There was no reason for me to do that, I'm just rude. The bridge that leads to the Weeping Peninsula, the Bridge of Sacrifice here, has a ballista on it. So as you're going through it, you want to be on horseback and you want to move as quickly as you can to get past the ballista. And then the dummy will just drop and let you kill him. And you don't have to worry about the ballista anymore. We love our new Shamshu, don't we? And there's a couple things on the bridge here. We have over here, Smithing Stone 1 times 3. And here, ooh, we dropped a war pick. Stone Sword Key. So gonna get these butterflies too, so I make sure to keep up with fire pots. Although I do have Fireball now, and I should actually equip that. I'll go ahead and get that grace. Oh, I think we have a level up now too. see. I want to get more stamina and equip load. So let's go ahead and just put that in there. Oh, I have 2 levels up. Wow. And then first thing, when you get onto the Weeping Peninsula, there is an NPC right over here named Irina, so we want to go talk to her.
Hello? Is somebody there? Might I bend your ear for a moment, please? My name is Irina. I've escaped from Castle Morne to the south. The servants there have rebelled. I can't be sure what it is. My eyesight's been weak since birth, you see. But I swear I heard frightful howling from all over. My good father secreted me out the castle, but decided himself to stay. He says it's his duty. As commander. I fear for father's life. The servants are full of wrath, filled with hatred for every one of us. They've since come for every one of the companions I escaped with. They haven't spared a soul. I fear it's no different at Castle Morne. Please, I implore you, would you mind taking a letter to my father?
Very busy this morning.
My soul wishes that he escape, even if his honor should be the price. Please. I just want him to be safe. Thank you, dearly. Then please, take this.
And of course I'm going to agree to deliver the letter to her father.
Castle, if you please.
I think that's all she says.
He can be stubborn, but I'm sure he'll come around.
So first thing, we don't have a map. We want to get that map. It's down here to the south, so I'm just going to follow the road. Basically all the maps are just along the road in the game, so you can just follow the roads and be like, ah, there's a map. And over here, we have a little carriage chest. It's got a morning star in it. There's a strip of white flesh over here guarded by these dogs. You do have to be a little careful with the groups of dogs because they can stun lock you if you're not careful. And then here we find our first Misbegottens too. These little deformed dudes with cleavers. And straight ahead, we've got a teardrop scarab. We're gonna go ahead and kill that guy real fast. That mighty shot Ashavor. And there's also an arteria leaf right up here. Oh, I should have saved some runes because we're about to run into a merchant, but I should have some hard ones to sell. Oh, it's nighttime. There's a knight's cavalry. I'm not ready to fight him yet. You gotta be pretty right up on them for them to care, though.
I am not selling.
So this guy, he has a cracked pot for us. No cookbooks, but he does have the Crimson Amber Medallion, so if you want to get more hit points, that's good for that. That's what that does, and that's about it. I didn't really need to sell any runes after all. Which, what am I wearing? I don't need this one now. That one on instead. Okay. I really don't want to have to worry about dodging past him, and I think night's just about over. Just gonna go ahead and pass time until morning. He's not that hard, I'm just not dealing with him yet. I'll come back and get all of the area bosses when I finish Stormvale Castle. But the map is right through here. You can see it standing right straight ahead of us. But as you'll approach it, you'll notice that there is a very large archer kind of watching you now. So that's just a warning of that way. We're not doing that yet though. That's the direction to Castle Morne. I'm gonna sweep the rest of the area first. So head back up north to the merchant, and you'll see there's a spirit spring right over here. And also a rampart tower right there. So what we're gonna do is use the spirit spring to jump right into that rampart tower. And we will get the great turtle shell. It's a big old great shield you can use, and also some warming stones. And then we find our first Mage's Rise. Most of these in the game have memory stones that'll increase the number of spell slots you have. One of the later ones are just spells themselves, but all of them are pretty much worth getting if you're going to be casting any magic at all. Before I do that though, I am going to just go ahead and go up here and get this grace. There's this area north of here I'm not going to be doing quite yet. I'll do it in a little while, but the grace will make it easier to get up here. Okay, these rises are all kind of locked with a puzzle. Different puzzles. Similar ones sometimes, though. This one's pretty common. Seek 3 wise beasts. So after I check that little imp book there, turn around, and there's a little spirit turtle. I'm gonna go ahead and kill him. Then there's another one that's just hiding in the bushes right over here. And the third one on this rise is a little tricky. He's invisible. But he's in this pond over here, and you can see him splashing. You just wait a second. You can also see all of the messages on the floor saying, yeah, he's right here. With all 3 of them dead, the seal rise is open. Or the rise seal. The seal on the rise. And there's nothing really to these rises too. It's just climbing up and getting the treasure at the top. Alright, next we're going to be heading west. Ooh, right up here, there's a little lookout tower with some loot we're going to get. There is a path you can just follow down normally, but we're right by the Spirit Spring, so I'm just going to hop down the Spirit Spring because it's the more fun way to travel. But yeah, I actually want to take the high road here around. And there's another grace you can see right over here by the dog pond. You have to kind of climb this broken wall to get up here. And you can just take the ladders up. And there was a guy with a ballista up here the whole time. Did you even notice him? I sure didn't. In the chest right next to him, too, we have a little hand ballista and some ballista bolts. If you're looking for a little, like, hand cannon, that's gonna be the closest you're gonna get for a while. It does require, like, 30 strength to use, though, so it might be a bit. That's the bolt, let me... Yeah, 30 strength. Moving onwards, continuing to go west. Not sure what those guys were hiding from. I guess they were murdered by something, I don't know. I want to talk though about these spirit candlesticks real fast though. There was one of these you might have noticed in Mistwood that I just ignored. But what these do is they'll actually show you the path of a dead guy. So they reveal like caves and dungeons, locations. But you use them and then you just follow the glowing footsteps of this ghost. And this is totally unnecessary too if you know where the dungeon is, but I just thought I'd show it because they're neat. It's a good bit of detail into the world. And yeah, he just descends straight down the cliffside. And he reveals this little cave right here. I think we can find his corpse too if you look for it. So this is Earthbore Cave. And the boss here is a little tough, but we can get him, especially if we take off the jellyfish. First things first, though, have your torch out so that you can notice this is an obvious trap. Like, don't step on the broken parts. It'll drop you in the pile of rats. That'll stunlock you to death really easily. And soon we'll have a lantern, so we won't have to use the torch as much, which is nice. It's nice to have both hands free. See all these rats just waiting for you to fall in that hole. And it gets a lot of people. Look at all these bloodstains on the ground. So we go down here for some more rats. Whoa. I always underestimate how much damage rats can do. Because it's like, oh, they're doing just little bits here and there. So then the boss is just around this hole. And it's a big-ass Runebear. Luckily, we don't need the torch, so we can two-hand our weapon. And of course, I'm gonna summon here, because it's just helpful to have the diversion. When you're actually fighting Runebears, what you really need to watch out for is they've got, like, grab attacks. And you really just can't keep distance from them either. Like, they're very hard if you're trying to be a caster. They're much easier when you're just getting in there on them. If you played Sekiro, a lot of the moveset is just the ape. And they do have a crit spot, but unfortunately his is in the wall right now. It's just right in their heads. Made him mad. They'll do a lot of damage very quickly, which is what the summons are nice for, to get them off of you so you can heal. But he gives you the Spelldrake Talisman, which is going to be immensely useful when we go up to Liurnia. And then in here we have some Smoldering Butterflies and a Trina's Lily. And then we can just teleport back to the entrance. And I'm gonna go ahead and stop in here, heal real fast. Next, we're gonna go right over here. There's some ruins. See on the map. These are the Demi-Human ruins. I bet you can guess what they're filled with. And this is another ruins, too, where they hide the cellar from you. You can actually get a hint because you see this guy just staring past these walls. That's where the cellar is, and you have to use a torrent to jump over there. But first, I'm gonna clear the Demi-Humans around there. And there is a chief, too, but they're not tough. Okay, let's hop in there and get that treasure. Shield of the Guilty. This is a shield that does blood loss damage when you use it to attack with. It's got the shield bash skill. Then we're gonna head north. There is a Demi-Human queen in the north part of this ruin, the first one in the game. And she drops a staff. And I'm gonna go ahead and summon here just to help deal with the mob of guys. If you have any trouble with her, put on the Spelldrake Talisman, because that's going to be most of her damage. Well, except for that. But she'll also kill her own little demi-humans. I'll let all of them deal with this while I just clean up these mobs. And she drops the Demi-Human Queen Staff and the Spell Crystal Burst. And that's a sorcery, not an incantation, which are intelligence-based. But just like I talked about with the Clawmark Seal that we got from Garank, how it's good for fighters, Demi-Human Queen Staff is great because it only requires that you have 10 intelligence to wield it, so you can still cast magic as somebody who's not going to put a lot of time into intelligence. But it does still scale with intelligence, unfortunately, so it's not as powerful as the Clawmark Seal in that regard. We also get some Arteria leaves, and then we are done with this place. Right directly north of here, though, there is another crystal tier for our Flask of Wondrous Physic. You can see it's kind of just surrounded by these little Miranda blossoms in this altar. And that is the Faith Knot crystal tier, which raises your faith temporarily. I can't show you my map, but now we're going south. There's a mining tunnel down there. I'm gonna go in there and get more smithing stones. Unfortunately, the smithing stones are still gonna be more smithing stones ones, so they're not gonna be immensely helpful to us right yet. But it's always good to have more of them, especially if you want to, like, if you have a seal or an Ara bow or something like that that you also want to be leveling up. And there are some bats around here too, but you can just run past them. Good old Morne tunnel. And note that you can kind of hear a teardrop scarab here. That's the sound of a teardrop scarab. And that'll matter in a little bit. Right away, got a smithing stone 1. That's why I never use the elevators, because I'm forced to. Note about when you're crossing that beam, you don't want to lock onto the guy because you will just run off the beam as you go straight towards him. Seems obvious, but yeah. We all make that mistake once or twice. Also, if you really find your attacks are bouncing off the miners, because they are hard, they're made of rock, try two-handing your weapon. Sometimes that'll make the difference. Or you can just keep backstabbing them. Oh, shit. Alright, Golden Rune 2 hiding in those barrels there. And I'm gonna run through here and just clear up all of these miners and grab their stones. And these mining tunnels are one of the best places, I think, to use the Assassin's Crimson Dagger, because there's so many dudes that you can just walk around and easily crit and restore your hit points. Alright, and this is where we want to go first, is this southeast tunnel. Oops. Didn't time that roll well. Oh, I thought I had his back. I was really hoping to get a crit on him, but it simply will not happen. We have an Exalted Flesh here in the chest. Golden Rune 4 on the corpse. There's a Somber Smithing Stone right here behind the shed. Just a 1. Oh, and there's this guy over here. And that's all for here. This is kind of a dead end. So we're gonna go back to the other room. Head to the north. There's a couple miners just sitting around. I believe you can just run past them, but I'm gonna go ahead and kill them for the hell of it. We love runes. These guys really don't want me to get to their backs. They're like, I've seen what you did to my friends. And some stanching boluses there. Those will alleviate blood loss build up. Can't wait till I get the lantern. Alright, in the middle of this room, we've got a big old pile of Misbegotten. So I'm actually gonna make some, might have some already. No, I'm gonna make some, fire pots. I really especially want to kill the winged ones because they're more annoying to deal with. And there is another winged one hiding in here somewhere too, but I don't usually find him until he jumps me. There he is. Oh, he's not winged. He's not winged at all. My mistake. I think he was just taking a nap somewhere. Oh, okay, there's the winged one. You can tell because he's shooting arrows at me. These guys can be really annoying to deal with. But if you do get a hit on them while they're in the air, they will fly backwards like that. So that's funny. And I love the verticality in the game, this game too. You can really see, like, this is the first area we walked through up there. When I was doing my test run, I kept hearing a miner from somewhere, and I'm like, where did I miss a miner? And I forgot that I actually died somewhere and had to respawn, and I skipped the guy up there, and I was just hearing him because it echoes down. Alright, so over here in the western room, we want to just grab that soft cotton. Get all of our little smithing stones here. And then we head up here to this north passage. Then we have another somber smithing stone one. And a boss door. This is one of the easier bosses in the game because he's just a guy that ends up being like a normal enemy that we're gonna fight regularly very soon. And also you can just walk up and backstab him, which is good. He does hit a lot if you let him though. He's also really slow, so keep that in mind as you're timing your dodge rolls. Whoa. And then he's almost killed me. And he drops the rusted anchor. And that's it for Morne Tunnel. So I'm not going to bother going back down the elevator to get rested. We're just going to go straight ahead to another grace. Just going to use the spirit spring here to leap ahead. That bridge is just another path you can take here if you don't want to go the lower route with the ruins. But why would I skip the ruins? It's got all my favorite Demi-Human guys. And then we're just heading straight north to a church on the hill up there. Go ahead and grab the sacred tear. And then there's a couple of items out here in this graveyard, but there's also a skeleton or two. Be aware of that. But we have the gilded iron shield over here. Hang on, I'm trying to kill your buddy. Yeah, and a couple blood grease too. Now that I have those, I'm gonna go ahead and rest at the grace. I don't think I quite have another level up, but we can put the sacred tear on our flask And I think Melina has some words.
Spoken echoes of Queen Marika linger here as well. Shall I share them with you? In Marika's own words, then, after thy death, I will give back what I once claimed, return to the lands between, wage war, and brandish the Elden Ring, grow strong in the face of death. Warriors of my lord, Lord Godfrey.
That's
Shall
great,
I come
sweetie.
let my hand share them with me?
Oh, I do have one level up. Nice.
Your thoughts,
I'm gonna
your
go ahead and get my
ambitions,
hit points up a little bit more.
the principles.
Alright, from here, we're actually going to go straight over to the minor Erdtree. There's some more crystal tears, of course, because that's where you get these mostly. Crystal tears are going to be found at the minor Erdtrees. There are always these on the map. They're not very minor at all. Before I do that, I do want to equip some fire grease. Just gonna put that in my hotbar. I'm just gonna ignore all the enemies on the way there. Oh, except maybe this one. So there's a boss here in front of this Erdtree, and that's how most of them work. The one that we had in the Mistwood was like an easy beginner Erdtree. A lot of times you'll find these Erdtree avatars or other bosses. And given that this guy is made of wood, we're gonna go ahead and use that fire grease to really up our damage on him. I don't summon for these, you can. I've just gotten so used to fighting them. They're just asylum demons from the Dark Souls games. Okay, I'm getting cocky. I'm gonna shut up and concentrate on the fight. That was a cool little warp that happened entirely by accident. There we go. You will see a lot of these in the game, so you'll get very used to them if you've never fought them before in other games. They're one of the ones that I got so used to just fighting that having a summon is actually a distraction because I don't want him to look at someone else. I want him to just look at me because I can predict all of his moves. But anyway, he drops the Opaline Bubble tier and the Crimson Burst Crystal tier. And remember how I said, hey, pay attention to the sound of that, crystal teardrop scarab? So there's a little crevasse above Morne tunnels. Right down here, and you can hear the teardrop scarab like loud and clear. So I'm just gonna very carefully drop down there on these big tombstones. You'll notice there's some bats. Try to deal with them up here if you can. Because there's a lightning field down there and it will shock you as you're trying to get that scarab. These guys really don't want to be up here. Okay, nuts to this. not getting away from me, buddy. Alright, and he drops the lightning strike incantation. And I don't really want to fight all these bats. Okay, I might die to these bats. I have got to get some better armor. I should not be getting hit this hard from bats. Alright. Take a little bit of fall damage from that, but that's fine. Next, I'm going to go to a Catacombs. It's right by the Minor Erdtree. A lot of times you'll find Catacombs just near Minor Erdtrees because of the lore of the game. That the soul is supposed to return to the Earths of the Root Tree. Did I just say the Earths of the Root Tree? Return to the roots of the Erdtree after they die. So they build Catacombs directly into the root system. But if that's not enough of a hint, there's also one of those statues pointing right at it, and a bunch of spirit jellyfish right in front of it. So you'll find it tucked away right behind this architecture here. And I think this is a skeleton one. I'm gonna go ahead and use the stone sword key here, because there's a cookbook in there. And a bunch of skeletons that will ambush you, but it's worth it to get the cookbook. Oh, it's only 2 skeletons. That's very easy. We've got a Grave Glovewort 1 here. And a Grave Glovewort 2, our first one of those. Someday we'll be able to use those. Ghost Glovewort 1. Skeleton who thinks he's fancy. And you know he's right. He is fancy, and he deserves the credit. Okay, then we've got another Grave Glovewort. You can hear a fire trap up ahead. I'm gonna pull out my trusty bow. And the fire trap's gone. Some human bone shards there. This is a dead end. Hitting those again will just raise them up, by the way, which we're going to be doing in 1 second. But first I'm going to run down over here. Gonna get ambushed by a bunch of skeletons. But there is a Graveglove Wart 2 in here. Got a little blocked in there. I want to get that skeleton before he revives. I did not get that skeleton before he revives. There, easy. Anyway, there was a Graveglove Wart 2, and there is also the Prattling Pate, thank you. So it seems like, oh, where's the boss? We were at a dead end, right? You can use these things as little elevators. Ow. What? Okay, good. I was like, you can't stand there. That's cheating. Looking for Graveglove Warts here. We got a Graveglove Wart 2. We're gonna head down here. The lever is right in front of us. I think a couple more skeletons might spawn at the bottom, but I'm not gonna worry about them because the door's right up here, so we're just gonna run it straight ahead. The boss here is the Cemetary Shade. We do see a few of these throughout the game. If you're using a dex weapon like I am, or like a lighter weapon, these guys can be kind of tricky. If you're using something heavy, they're like laughably easy because the poise damage they take is immense. So they just never get a shot in. But my weapon's not heavy enough for that to be a thing. You can, however, backstab them. They do also have a move too where they shoot some like green boogers out of their head and that'll paralyze you. Alright, Lutel the Headless there, that's our first legendary Spirit Ash. You'll need that for the achievement. And we're done. I'm gonna hop back in here and heal real fast, and I think we've got more level up. Now we're gonna keep going west, and the next place we're headed is these little ruins right there. There isn't much to these ruins. They're pretty straightforward. You can see the cellar right away. There's a beast liver here being guarded by a rat. Some Trina lilies over here. Leave me alone, rat. And I think there's some cages in the basement, so I'm gonna get my shield out. Cages will shoot like powerful firebolts at you, and unfortunately you can't see the video now. I will get a lantern very soon though, so don't worry. There. And in here we have the Winged Scythe, which is actually a really decent faith weapon. Doing a faith build. Okay, and there should be near here a teardrop scarab with an incantation for us. Thought I heard him a second ago. Oh, he might be on top of the ruins here. Yep, there he is. It's very lucky that I didn't die there as well. There's a Weeping Vigil over here that's locked by a stone sword imp key. Sometimes they can be. We're not going to be getting that for a while. And there's also another church. I don't know why Weeping Peninsula has so many churches, but the 4th Church of Marika is up here. It's guarded in the front by a couple of Mausoleum soldiers, which are like headless ghost soldiers. They're not particularly harder than normal soldiers. They just kind of fade in and out of existence like the spirits do. But you can just run past them. So we get another sacred tear. Oh. Helps actually put it in. I was just seeing if Melina had words here, but she doesn't. Now let's address the ringy boy over here. So this thing in front of us is what's known as a walking mausoleum. You can see how it got its name. You can use these to duplicate the remembrances you get from fighting bosses. Some bosses. But not while it's... Oh, some armor, thank God. Not while it's walking around, so we gotta deal with that. And also, it'll stop the freaking bell ringing, which drives me insane. Spirit has some stuff to say about it. Oh, there it is. Oh wait, no, he's talking about the Tower of Return. Never mind. I think the guy in front of the Catacombs we were just at talked about the Wandering Mausoleum, but I just ignored him. So you get these guys to stop walking by, you'll notice when you get up close to them, their feet are covered with like little glowing skulls. These are what's powering their animation. So just hit them off. The angle can be tricky sometimes, but just keep trying. You don't have to get every last one of them. God, I'm gonna get off the freaking... They will do a lot of damage to you if you let them step on you, which makes sense. But once you've cleared about like 75% of their skulls, the mausoleum will collapse. And it'll remain stationary until you need it. Oh my god. That's why I usually do this on horseback. He doesn't want to get right in there. There we go. Kind of fun, little cleaning duty. Scrubbing the barnacles off your mausoleum. There are some that mix it up and are a little bit trickier to solve, but for the most part, you just want to knock the things off their feet. Well, and he's collapsing. It's not even 75%, it's like half of the skulls and they can't stand anymore. These guys do not show up on your map though, so what I like to do is I just add a little map marker for them. And that way if I forget where they are, I can just be like, oh yeah, that's where my little mausoleum map marker is. Alright, so there's another grace over here I'm gonna go ahead and grab real fast. Just to have it. But we're heading west to another grace and the isolated merchant's shack. There it is. It shows up on your map too, as a little roof. But this is where the merchant that sells us a lantern lives, so we love him.
Well, it's been an age since I've seen a customer. How can I help here at the end of the earth?
Don't want that. He also sells 3 stone sword keys at 2,000 apiece, which is as cheap as they get, I think. And a lost Ashes of War, which lets you duplicate an Ash of War. He also has the Zweihander, which is a nice colossal sword. And a note that basically just tells you what I told you about knocking the skulls off the guy. I'm actually going to get another stone sword key while I'm here. I need, what, 500? Have a safe journey. I go ahead and equip that here, and now we can actually see when we're in dark places, which means I can actually take the torch off too. I don't need that. Okay. I'm gonna head over. Now there's tower over here, the Tower of Return. It has a mounted knight in front of it. I'm just gonna ignore him and run past. There's also a ballista on top like there be. But I don't have time for any of these guys. I got places to be. So this is the first time in the game I'm going to be showing you a trapped chest. We've passed by a couple of them so far. But I want to get something that's at this one. So here we go. Ensnared in a transporter trap. And when you're moved by a transporter trap, you will not be able to teleport until you have found a grace and rested at it. This one is very easy though because the grace is just literally right in front of you. Now, you'll recall the last part of this walkthrough, we talked about golems and how they seem intimidating, but you just have to hit them in the leg. Here is a more advanced golem to test this on. It's literally just 2 charged heavy attacks, and down they go. You do want to be careful with this guy because he is quite a bit higher in level than the previous golems we fought, and like one hit from him probably will kill me right now. But it's really easy to just keep knocking him down. Oh, okay, I didn't die, yay! Hey, I can't get to you. There he goes. And then right over here there's a chest, but you don't have to fight the golem to get the chest, it's just easier. And he's not hard. There we get the Blessed Dew Talisman, and that'll actually slowly restore your hit points as you're walking around. I'm gonna go ahead and rest at the Grace. And next, we're going to... Oh yeah, Tombsward Cave. So I'm gonna go back to 4th Church of Marika, which my map is now screwed up because of this stupid tower, but I'm gonna go back to the 4th Church of Marika right up here. The Tombsward Cave is actually kind of hidden. You see this platform goes up here. There's a little ledge that you can't get to from below that you have to drop in from the top. So we're gonna mark that there. And just hop down. And this place is the first dungeon where we have to deal with poison significantly, so I have memorized the Cure Poison spell. Now we can use our lantern. But if you don't have the ability to cast that incantation, just make sure you have a few neutralizing boluses. We don't have yet much in the way to mitigate poison, so expect to get poisoned at least once in here. Also, it doesn't hurt to make some fire pots before you go in here, too. These guys are really susceptible to it, and the slimes that you're going to fight in here are very strong against physical damage, but basically need some kind of magic damage or elemental damage to deal damage to them. So let's make some more fire pots. I bet I can get a twofer here. I almost got poisoned, but it was worth it. Yeah, I'm not even gonna bother fighting the slimes. Just be careful not to let them drop on your head. So first we're gonna actually head up to here to this north through the poison. Again, have some fire pots handy, but we'll really be needing them in here. I say that and then I haven't actually used any. Also, something you really want to note too about poisonous swamps is that you want to try not to roll in them if you can help it, because as you step in them and get covered with them, it will actually continue to affect you, because it's like literally coating your skin, which is a nice bit of realism in these games. It's also a little annoying to deal with, but just don't roll. Like I can show you real fast here. So you can see now that I've rolled it, even though I'm out of the poison, it's still building up slowly just because my body is covered with it. Even after I use the spell, it still works. We will get an item much later on, soap, that lets you just wash that off. But in general, you just don't want to mess with that. Alright, here's the guy who wants some fire. I think we want to craft... Oh, we can't. We're out of butterflies. Okay, we have an arterial leaf 1 up there. And this drop will take us back down to the path we were on before, sort of. Note, though, that there are 3 of those mushroom guys in here. So if you have any more fire pots left, go ahead and thin the herd a little bit. And you get some poison bone darts there. Ow. My dude. Okay. Oh, I accidentally used too much magic and now I can't summon for the boss fight. Well, I'll just have to switch to something like the wolves. I meant to use one of the cerulean flasks, but I forgot to switch it out. That's okay. Actually, I have to be careful because there's a guy. There he is. Leave me alone. I'm researching. Okay, I was just seeing what I had. I haven't gotten the Demi-Humans ones yet. I think those use torches, which is funny in this boss fight. Alright, so you just want to go straight ahead to this western path. Where we were just at. I went the wrong way. To this little southern room, and then there's the boss room. And it's a big Miranda blossom. Oh, I don't even have enough magic to summon those guys. Shoot. But I do still have fire grease, so... Yes, he's really susceptible to that. And that drops the Viridian Amber Medallion, which increases your stamina some. And I think that cookbook we picked up lets you craft poison grease too, which should be handy later. Yeah, poison grease. I'm gonna go back in and heal real fast. And next there's just a little ruin right over here. It's another ruin one, there's really not much to it. It does have some enemies that we haven't seen before, but they're nothing to worry about. We will be seeing a ton of them in the game. So we have marionette soldiers here, and then also a sorcerer head thing. I forget what these things are called, but they cast a lot of magic, and I'm just going to avoid them. There's no reason to be there. So here we have no chest, but we do have ambush shard and sorcery, and then also sorceress Castellan for some reason is here. If I were to go back and check the waypoint ruins, she is still in the basement there. So we'll figure that out. Oh, later. He followed me. That's illegal. I'm just leaving now. Goodbye. I don't want to fight those guys in that tiny area. What the fuck? There's some great dragonfly hits, by the way. Anyway, that was Witchbane Ruins. We'll go back there later, much later. Alright, back to the eastern side of the map. We can deal with this area up here real fast before we head south to the Castle Morne. Over there, you can see that gravity crackling. There's another Alabaster Lord, like the one we fought on the beach in front of the Haligdrake thing. He doesn't drop a goddamn thing. So you can fight him if you want to, but there's no point to it. He doesn't even drop that many runes. So I'm just gonna ignore him for now. Notice another tomb statue, but we're gonna head straight north. At the very end up here, there's a corpse sitting in a chair, and it's got a stone sword key on it. And as for the tomb, you have to kind of go around southwards and then flip around because it's underneath a cliff. There are a fair number of imps in here, so I just want to have the shield handy. Because now that we actually have a shield, it's insanely useful against imps. I can demonstrate right away, because there's a sneaky one that thinks he's sneaky. So that's a guard counter. When you block an attack, if you immediately after press a heavy attack, you'll do a guard counter, which does a lot of poise damage, and it tends to just knock imps flat on their back. That was too slow, I didn't press it fast enough, but oh well, he's dead. Switch back to my Godric soldiers too. We'll need those. The boss in here is a little rough. It's just so much faster than trying to dodge around them and deal with them. Don't forget to pick up the flowers. So north, we want to go in here to get just a flower and ambush, I think. Yeah, hello. And then here we have our first spiked ceiling trap. So as soon as I step on this floor, it's going to push me up into there. There's a little platform over there, but all it has is on it is those purple grave flowers or whatever they are that respawn, so I don't care about it. So I'm just going to step on it, move it up, and drop. Grave violet, that's what they're called. And then here we have zombie hell. I'm also not going to stop and fight these guys because it's zombie hell. I'm just going to run through, get the pickups. We got the prattling pate, please help. There's, they will grab you. So, just have to be careful of that. But there's just so many of them, they drop barely any runes, it's just not worth it. And then finally I find a ladder at the end of the hallway. And it has my lever in it. That was very rude. Alright, back to our door. Alright, I do not want to die here. I hope I don't. Let's wish luck. This is a Erdtree Burial Watchdog with 4 imps. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to immediately jump the imps and get them dead as fast as I can. Because otherwise they will just be a big problem while you're trying to fight the Burial Watchdog. Here he is. You have to kind of keep awareness of where the Watchdog is at, because he will do the most damage at you. Thank you, Godric soldiers, for taking the blunt of that. These guys seem really tough and they do a lot of damage, but they do really telegraph their moves. So when you learn them, they're not nearly as tough. Unless you let them trap you in a corner with fire. There we go. And they drop the Demi-Human ashes. Those ones I was looking for a second ago. Oh, and then we have one more quick stop before we go to Castle Morne. So I'm going to warp over to the Castle Morne Rampart Grace. And you can see from the map that there is like a little village up here. That's where we're headed, so... Butterflies, gimme, gimme, gimme. So right away you can see these rats are a little different. They've got fiery eyes. And they will give you the madness affliction. Like, it will cause buildup of madness if you let them hit you. Madness is kind of like bleed, where if the gauge reaches full, you'll just take a ton of damage. But you'll also be immobilized for a moment as you're just screaming in madness. So you don't want to do that, ideally. You can see too, there's some yellow embers around, which they have a really good description. An ember taken from the eye socket of a corpse, material used for crafting items. A sign that the deceased suffered from the flame of frenzy. This grape has ripened and burst. That's an eye. Keep that in mind for the next couple of chapters. We're gonna come back to that. And this area is not too challenging, but we also have no way to mitigate madness right now, so we just have to be really careful not to get hit. As you approach the village, you'll find it's not just rats, but also people that have been afflicted by it. These guys will have a much bigger attack if you let them, where they'll stop for a second and like hold their head, and then fire will just shoot out of their eyeballs in front of them. And that causes a lot of madness buildup. Also, just want to take in the scenery here. It's very disturbing the first time you run across this. Okay, in this house over here too, on this corpse, we've got the Flame Crest wooden shield. And also make sure to grab these Eyes of Yellow. These are ones that don't respawn. There are a finite amount of them in the game. And that you use them later to craft boluses that'll heal madness buildup. Speaking of building, though, I really need to get more smoldering butterflies. You want to step into this church here too, which is filled with more rats, including a giant rat that also has the madness. When you encounter madness, it's kind of like a plague that's affected everything in the area. There's the big guy. Oops, that was not my fire pot. And over here on this corpse, you'll find the Flame of Frenzy Incantation, which lets you cause that madness buildup, but also builds it up in you at the same time. And I believe right over here-ish, there is a grace for some reason. In case you need to return here, you don't. If I can find where it is. Let's see. Probably where I marked on my map, huh? I pretty often forget it's here because, like, you come in and clear this place out once and then you never come back again. I need mushrooms, don't I? There's some winged Misbegotten up here for some reason. There it is. Just for completion's sake, we grab it. But now we can go back to the Castle Morne Rampart. So we're finally going to head south to Castle Morne, but along the way we want to avoid that big golem archer who's going to be firing at us the whole time. So instead of taking the road straight down, I'm just going to veer off to the left a little bit. Then the ruins here will give us some protection. And also, there's a teardrop scarab. And we haven't seen this kind before. You'll notice how it's like more of a white shimmering glow. These guys are near impossible to hit with melee weapons, so you kind of have to use some kind of ranged attack. But they die pretty quickly to that, so that one has poison mist. But yeah, when you run up to try to hit them, they'll just teleport away and appear somewhere else almost instantly. It's quite annoying. There's another poison swamp, but there's not much in it except for a couple poison blooms, some zombies. And we're close enough now that I just want to get off of the horse, because it's harder to avoid these arrows at this distance. What I'm going to do is when he fires it, just roll at the moment that he fires it. And that'll generally do it. Oops, I still have my bow equipped. Great arrows. I was hoping he would drop the bow for me. I would like a great bow eventually. You can find one, but it's not until the Altus Plateau. Oh, and before we head inside Castle Morne, there is a couple of pickups if you head east here. You see a group of angry jellyfish. And the angry jellyfish are guarding a couple of chair corpses at pickups. Got a somber smithing stone too, and an arteria leaf. And then we're finally at Castle Morne. Castle Morne is our first proper legacy dungeon in the game, which a legacy dungeon is like a dungeon that's more like the previous Souls games in layout. So there's not like the open world context. It's just a big old dungeon. Is there even anything in this room? No, there's not. Okay. We'll just grab the Grace. And head up to the courtyard. Just in case I die, I'm gonna send this elevator back down since the Grace is below me. It'll save some time later. I'm sneaking because there's like 3 dogs over here I don't want to get the attention of, because instead we're going up here to get the attention of these 2 dogs. Oh my god. That wasn't supposed to go like that. Good thing I sent that elevator down. This is what I'm talking about, getting stunlocked by dogs. You have to be careful. It's because I didn't get the lucky summoning pool. Okay. They had a smithing stone too that they were guarding. You'll notice there's a battle happening up on those ramparts there, and occasionally an enemy will just fall, and it exists down here now. It's irregular, but RNG sometimes makes it happen. Go ahead and kill all these dogs now. And then I want to just like slowly pick these guys off from the outer edges. That one in the middle that they're all facing is one of the Scaly Misbegotten, so it's a bit harder. We want to get his attention last. If you're real lucky, they'll just notice you fighting their friends and like come at you one by one, and that's the easiest way to deal with these guys. And now that there's only, I think, 3 little Misbegottens and the big Scaly Misbegotten, I'm gonna... Oh, he noticed me. I'm gonna go ahead and get the backstab in on that guy, and I'm gonna go ahead and summon here. Evens the odds a bit. The Scaly Misbegotten just has a lot of hit points, and with the little guys running around too, it's really easy to take a couple of hits and suddenly be dead. Hey, you killed one of my soldiers. That's so rude. I'll use the remaining one over here, though, to kill this pumpkin head real fast. Oh, actually, let's get all of the butterflies first. I need those. All the fire pots are mine now. Ha 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 ha. This is a great place to farm them, by the way. And there is also another Misbegotten up here that can often join the fight when you fight that pumpkin head. Just gonna go ahead and kill him. There's a ladder up past him that we're not gonna be using just yet because there's a back way that gives you more treasure. And then over here we've got 3 smithing stone ones. Oh, you'll notice one of those soldiers did fall down over here, just like I said. Look at that. It's our lucky day. Oh, more butterflies. Okay, so we got some more fire grease. And I'm just gonna head back around here towards the armory. And in a chest here we have the claymore. Around here you'll find 2 Misbegotten just executing a Godric soldier. All of them will attack you though. The Godric soldier's not on your side just because they're attacking him. So go ahead and climb up this ladder. gonna turn off my lantern just because I think it makes me a little more noticeable. But I'm gonna run past the enemies all fighting here. Down this little hallway with a couple Misbegotten. And get the steel wire torch. Continuing to ignore them, and I'm just gonna run up this ladder here. Now I can drop onto this rampart, and this is actually where that other ladder earlier takes you. Right here. Do I have stuff to craft arrows with? Yeah, I can make a few. That'll be handy. There's a couple of winged Misbegottens up here. Where'd they go? Did they fall to their deaths? I think they might have. Wow, that's lucky. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go pick up this item that's at the end of the hallway here. Forgot about that guy. And it's 2 smithing stone 2s, which is great because I think that might actually be enough for me to upgrade. Yeah, I can upgrade my sword next time I go back to the round table hold. Which I'm not doing yet because we got one more thing we got to do before we get the next grace. So the next grace is right down here, but if you drop, you cannot return unless you go all the way through the courtyard again. From the site of grace. So instead what we're going to do is we're going to head down this ladder over here that's kind of hidden on the eastern side. Not sure where these guys came from. But I'm just going to run right past them. I guess they finished their fight with the soldiers. And I'm gonna go all the way up here to the top of this tower. And this is where you can find Irina's father. He's a little tricky to find. A lot of people miss him. Because you have to go out of your way, really, to get to him.
There's a face I've not seen before. I'm Edgar, warden of this castle, as ordained by Lord Godric himself. But you can see how things have turned out. The menials have all rebelled. They gave me good service, or so I thought. But it seems it was all an act. Foul creatures, as it said, and true enough, they're foul inside and out. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but whatever you come here to do, I'm afraid Castle Morne won't hold much longer. Take this, by way of apology.
And I'll give you the sacrificial toque here, which, that's an amulet where, if you have it equipped, it'll be destroyed, but you won't lose your runes. And you can find several of them throughout the game.
I see. From Irina. Thank you. I mean, you're dead. But I can't leave yet. Even if the castle should fall, as commander, I must remain to ensure the treasured sword of Morne does not fall into the wrong hands. If you see Irina, do tell her that her father will come for her once he's fulfilled his duty.
Alright, so he will not leave yet until you actually kill the boss at this place. But because we spoke with him and gave him Irina's letter, we will be able now to summon him for that boss fight. So I'm gonna return whence I came. Guy's sleeping on the freaking sky. Oh, what did he drop. Oh, nice. Okay, instead of going up the ladder too, you can just do a little jump over here to get to that grace. You just can't jump back. It's a one-way trip. Oh, I should really spend those runes too. Get some more endurance. Okay, now we're at behind the castle. That's what this grace is. We're gonna just drop down this way. You can drop over here and drop in that grate, and it kind of looks like they intend you to do that, but what you actually want to do is go here towards the southwest. Look down. There's a little platform with a corpse that's got something, and it is a stone sword key. So we want to get that for sure. Did my lantern shut itself off? Oh yeah, because I rested at the grace. This is where that leads to from above that we didn't take. This little prison cell. You want to be careful because there's a slime waiting to drop on you when you grab this pickled turtleneck. So you just kind of get it from the farthest range that you can. You can ignore all these Misbegotten if you want. They're just cowering or sleeping or something. We're not really sure. And I'm also ignoring the slimes just because I don't want to waste the resources on killing them. But up here we've got a Scaly Misbegotten that will not let us ignore him. Because we want to climb this ladder that he's guarding. Right, I remembered. I turned my lantern off on purpose. I just forgot I did that. And up here in this chest we have the Twin Blade Talisman, and that enhances final hit of chain attacks, which is very good for some weapons. Probably like the one I'm using, honestly, where if you're completing a whole chain of attacks, it does quite a bit more damage. It's less good if you're using like a big heavy sword. Maybe. Maybe it's good for that too. I don't know. I don't know shit. Why am I doing this walkthrough? Alright, so I'm just gonna jump to that roof, drop down here. Some tarnished gold sunflowers there. This teardrop scarabee here is just a crimson one, so he'll replenish your flasks. Then you want to jump over here to the big tree. Continue to drop. This time you do want to drop in the hole in the roof and carefully onto that beam so that you can get the smithing stone too. And onto the next beam so you don't take the fall damage. There's a bunch of rats down here. You've got a fire pot. That's the better way to deal with some of them. Fortunately, that one only got one of them. There we go. No more close quarters. And I want to return in here because this guy has a whip. Now there is a grace right behind you here. Come out and to the left and then turn around. There's a grace hiding in the corner. I'm gonna go ahead and rest of that just to restore my FP. Take this bridge over. There's a Scaly Misbegotten sleeping there, and a winged Misbegotten right here. I want to go ahead and get the winged one real fast since they're such a pain. Man, I love the Assassin's Crimson Dagger. Alright, now we're pretty much safe to just go straight to the boss. I don't think this talisman's actually going to help me in this boss fight though, so I'm going to switch instead to the blue feathered branch sword, which raises defense when hit points are low. Because this guy can hit hard and fast. And now, like I said, if you met Edgar and gave him Irina's letter, you will get his summon sign right over here by the door. I'm gonna go ahead and summon him. And I'm gonna call my Godric soldier friends, and then we've got a whole posse to beat this guy up. This guy can be a tough boss fight really early in the game, but because we go to every freaking dungeon before we get here, he's not too difficult. You and your posse can really just gank him, and I kind of feel bad for him, honestly. But I shouldn't, because he will kill me in 1 second if I do. There we go. That was it. And he drops the first legendary armament that you get in the game, the Grafted Blade Greatsword, so you will need that for the achievement as well. And there's nothing else over here, so I'm gonna go ahead and just warp back to the Castle Morne lift, because I'm gonna go talk to Edgar again. He doesn't give you anything, so you don't have to. This is optional. But just for the sake of completion, I'm gonna go talk to him. Oh, and I forgot to send my elevator back down, so it's good I didn't just jump to my death. I'm literally just gonna sprint past everything to get up there too, because you really don't need to stop and fight everything. This time we're using that ladder that we passed by earlier because it's a more direct route. That might be a problem. Can't reach me now, can you, dog?
In your debt for keeping the sword from those fallen creatures. I'm no longer bound by duty. Once I've rescued Irina, I will spend my remaining days with her. Thanks to you, I will be reunited with Irina and devote my remaining days to her. Irina has a gentle nature, though. I only hope it remains intact. Thanks to you, and devote my Irina as I only hope.
Okay, I thought he repeated himself there. I wanted to make sure. I'm not in combat. Let me teleport, please. Just gonna hide back here in the corner until the game thinks I'm out of combat. Maybe if those guys can't see me directly. There we go. Alright, gonna warp back up here to the Bridge of Sacrifice and go see what Irina's doing.
Irina, how could this be? My daughter deserved better. The fault lies with me. I chose duty over my daughter's safety. And that is how fate has answered. I'll find them. The foul wretches responsible for this. I'll hunt them down and exterminate every last one of them. Rest assured, Irina, it will be done. I'll find the foul. I'll hunt them. Rest assured.
And then if you go examine her corpse too, it just confirms that she is dead. Well, rest in peace, Irina. I'm just gonna go upgrade my weapon real fast, but then next time we're gonna be covering all of Stormvale Castle. I'm gonna go very in depth on that. And if there's enough time afterwards, I want to get the world bosses from Limgrave before we head onwards to Liurnia. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.